down not only Lakers and Blazers, but Bucks and Magic. And the Timberwolves win the NBA draft lottery. How will they use that #1 pick? Golden State, where do they pick? Details next.
There's a New York Knicks fan.
Give him a few minutes, he'll be booing. Picking 8 is the New York Knicks.
In my name, I'm the champ. Understand that.
All right. John Butchergross. Michael Eaves, best of the NBA from today. Best sharpshooter of the day, Duncan Robinson. Oh, rocking the suburbs. Ooh, just like Quiet Riot did. 7 of 8 from deep. Leading scorer, 24 points. From D3 to D1 to NBA multimillionaire soon. The Heat took the game in the series, 2-0.
The best run courtesy of the Houston Rockets against OKC. Houston actually down 3 early in the fourth quarter, 80-77, and then they ripped off 17 in a row to flip it from 3 down to up 14. The run lasted 3 minutes, 21 seconds. James Harden mostly on the bench. They shot 83% from the field. Rockets won the game, took a 2-0 series lead, 111-98. Oh, yeah, they were 3 for 4 from deep during that run.
Best poster. What Justin Vernon is to Bon Iver, Giannis is to the Bucks. Normally he's in Milwaukee off his feet, but now he's in Disney World off his feet, and yeah, finishing. Over Gary Clark, another musician. Long arms, long legs, can't buy his clothes at the mall. He's got to get them specially made. Bucks come back after losing their game 1. And the Sports Center continues. Eves and Bucci, the Golden State Warriors, are about to get richer. More on that ahead. But we continue with what has become the main attraction at Disney World here early in the playoffs, Michael. Blazers and Lakers.
Yeah, Bucci, the 1-8 matchup we didn't always know we were going to get, but one definitely NBA fans and NBA Twitter needed in the worst way. Let's go to it. AD, LeBron, how would they respond after losing game 1 in convincing fashion to Dame and company? Well, AD, he came to LA to try to win a championship, and he came out in this game like, yo, we can't let this continue. And he was all over the court in every way Laker fans want him to be. And it's hard to believe that the Lakers have not won a playoff game since May of 2012. Yeah, maybe AD knew that stat. Game 1, he had 12 points in the paint. Game 2 at the half, he had 16 points in the paint, 21 and 8 total in the first half, third quarter. How about them Wildcats? AD knocks down a 3 from the wing. And then another one, hand up, back-to-back trays for AD. About 3:30 to go in the game. From the baseline, you can't defend that. Too long, too skilled, too good. 31 and 11 through 3. New on Sports Center, AD with Cassidy Hubbard after the game.
But we just wanted to come out aggressive tonight and play with a sense of desperation, and we did that. You know, guys made shots tonight, which we can tell is going to be a difference in this series. Guys shot the ball with a lot of confidence, but we wanted to come out and play with a sense of urgency, a sense of desperation, and we were able to get the win tonight.
Yeah, to that point, no fans, no home court advantage. How much was this effort tonight about a motivation being down 0-1?
Yeah, I mean, you never want to go down 0-2 in a series, and our mantra this entire season is never lose 2 in a row. And that was our mindset coming to the game. Our benches has been one of the best benches in the bubble as far as the motivation and you know, the fan noise, you know, that we're not able to get. So it was good. You know, guys was cheering each other on, and we were able to come get a big win.
Yeah, and you guys were able to hold the highest scoring offense in this bubble to just 88 points tonight. So what was the biggest key defensively?
Stopping Dame and CJ. We know those two guys can get going at any time, and our bigs and our guards did a great job of containing them. You know, they got to the line a lot in game 1, especially early, and kind of got going. We just tried to limit their free throw attempts and limit their threes. Try to make them beat us with twos, and we did a good job of that tonight. So we got to make sure that, you know, game 3, we know they're going to come out, you know, guns blazing and try to get themselves going. So we got to have the same defensive effort for the rest of the series.
We saw LeBron on the bench. He said, this team is built different. How different is this team from any team you've played on?
We got a chance. We got a chance to win. A couple years ago, you know, if DeMarcus doesn't get hurt, you know, I feel like we got a chance as well. But we got a chance. We got a chance to do something special this year. And, all Rondo and Bron talk about is it doesn't come around often when you have a great team to compete for a championship. So we want to take advantage of our opportunities in this team that we have and try to reach our goal, and that's to win. But, we just try to go out and do things that other teams can't do, and when we have such a talented team, and we still try to play scrappy. And when you have a team that's talented and plays scrappy, it's very tough to beat them. So that's kind of been our mindset for the entire playoffs.
Well, series tied at 1. Congrats on the win, AD.
Thank you.
All right, a little more perspective here and just exactly what AD did in this game. According to Elias, AD's the 5th player since the shot clock became a thing nearly 65 years ago to put up 30 points and 10 boards in a playoff game while playing less than 30 minutes. And kids, get out the Google so you can educate yourself on some of the all-time greats. Other than that company, Clyde Lovellette, Tom Heinsohn, Kevin McHale, but Joel Embiid did it just last year against the Raptors. All right, speaking of perspective, when we want to talk some real hoops, we bring in Tim Legler here to SportsCenter. All right, Tim, clearly a blowout win for the Lakers, and everyone says this is the response you would want from a championship team. But what was it about Anthony Davis's play that led to this type of response?
I love everything he just said in that interview because rarely do you hear star players talk about that level of desperation this early in a series. But that's exactly the approach they needed to have. I thought he set the tone. He was just going to be physically overwhelming for the Portland Trail Blazers. He showed all his versatility, but in particular, the way he started the game defensively. This is an incredible play right here. Look at the speed to track Damian Lillard to the rim. That's a layup early in the game. Their best player. That can get you going. Here again, both LeBron and AD just occupy the low post and the front of the rim and just beat them up with their physical power. And then the skill started to take over. I mean, AD was really feeling it tonight from the three-point line. He got into that rhythm. No one's going to come out there and guard him. And then finally the face-up game. The quick one step, gets the contact, gets the finish. I just thought he imposed his will in this game so early and showed you everything that he's capable of doing, gave you the full package. Tremendous job here, too. Look at the effort. He falls in the corner, gets up, gets the rebound, and it triggers this break. That kind of summed up AD's night for me, and he wasn't going to have any quit in him. He was going to give you everything that he had, and he set the tone for his team. I love their approach tonight. They needed this kind of game, particularly defensively. They're the #1 seed. They didn't really play that well offensively in game 1, but they also let their 2 best players get away from them at a key time. That wasn't going to happen tonight. They took care of that early enough. I love the response that the Lakers showed you in this one, particularly Anthony Davis.
Well, Dame Lillard was that guy for the Blazers in game 1 of this series, but suffers a dislocated index finger on his left hand. Now, the X-rays legs were negative, so that's good news. Nothing's broken. But how much of an effect can that have on his shot? It's not his shooting hand, but it is his left hand.
Yeah, and that's one of the most understated injuries when it comes to affecting your shooting. When you hurt something on that offhand, the way that affects you, it can affect the way you catch the ball cleanly. If that is really tender and sore when you go into game 3, when you catch it, sometimes that can affect how cleanly you catch it. Certainly going to your left for that step back 3-point shot that he loves going in that direction, that could be affected. We're going to have to wait to see what he says after a day of rest and then by the time you get to game night for game 3. But it could be a factor. Also going to the left and finishing at the rim could be a factor. I think for me, it's something that we're going to have to wait and see because it's a total different level of severity with that type of injury. It could really affect you or it could be something very, very minor. I want to hear that out of Damian Lillard sometime probably closer to game time for game 3. In the meantime, C.J. McCollum can pick up the slack. I think he is ready to have one of those C.J. McCollum moments. He's been quiet for these 2 games, but remember what he did last year in game 7 against Denver. He took over that game. He is capable of doing it. Don't be surprised if C.J. McCollum picks up some of the slack for a little bit worn out Damian Lillard right now, to be honest with you, with all he's had to do to carry this team. C.J. McCollum could have one of those moments, and he may need to. If they lose game 3, they could lose this in 5. That's how important I think game 3 is to make this potentially a 6 or 7 game series.
All right, you mentioned hearing from Dame Lillard before game 3. We're going to hear from him here on SportsCenter momentarily, so stick around for that. And Legs, when you do stick around as well, we're going to talk about the Bucks and how they responded to that game 1 loss.
That's right, Mike. Also hear from LeBron James. Lakers' first playoff win, as you mentioned, in over 8 years. It won't be 8 years until they're next. I can promise you that. We'll hear from LeBron and Lillard as this Sports Center continues. But first, let's talk about, and with legs as well, Magic Bucks, not regular Bucks. These are Bucks that do card tricks. Magic Bucks. Orlando won game one. It was a bit of a shocker. A key for them, of course, is going to be hitting their threes. They didn't in this game. Fultz misses there. And again, all over the place. The Magic shot 12.5% from the field.
I think it's their defense.
In the first quarter. Second worst in the first quarter in over the last 1,500 postseason games. Again, 12.5%. Terrence Ross, you saw one there as well. Giannis, all right, yeah, we're 3 wide. Doesn't matter. He takes it the distance. 10 of 23 from the floor for Giannis. 28 points, 20 rebounds. Again, kick it out. Get some help. And that's what he did. Bucks leading 31-15. Off to a quick start in this one. Didn't get much from Chris Middleton again. Only 1 for 8 in 31 minutes and 2 points. We'll have to try to rectify that. Kyle Korver in the corner from Matthews after Bledsoe drove and kicked. Bucks shot over 40% from 3 in the first half. Giannis, yeah, he can take it down. Once that opens up a bit, he can finish up over Gary Clark. It's a 16-point lead. Couldn't do much with Vucevic on the offensive end. He still had a big game. He finishes there. He had 32 points, 10 rebounds,